from year-round DH. What stat will be the most telling about how the Sixers season is going / how their postseason aspirations are developing, aside from games played for Joel Embiid? So basically, what are the key stats or things you're looking for that are not health? Because I think we would probably both agree, if they're healthy, they're going to win a lot of games.
I would think it's the question that we addressed the other day, which is their defensive ranking in the league.
It's definitely up there.
Yeah, so I would put the defensive ranking. Are they going to be a top 10 team, top 7, top 5, top 3? How good defensively will they be in the league? Because we know they're going to be able to score from Embiid, Maxey, and George. They're going to be able to score. They have a number of other players from Eric Gordon, Kelly Oubre, who will be able to score the basketball also. And if Nick Nurse is as good of a coach as we think he is, they will devise some things where they're going to score over 110 points a game, and you're going to feel good about what they do offensively. Joel Embiid might lead the league in scoring again. So defensively is where it's going to be. Are they still going to be that same type of team where we saw DeAnthony Melton in the starting lineup with Joel Embiid, Tobias Harris, Tyrese Maxey, PJ Tucker before the trade happened, and then Nick Batum, where they were a good defensive team? They had some issues that maybe Kyle will address in his answer, but they were a good defensive team. And when we talked about this the other day, we all said they have the personnel collectively as a team. You have some good individuals that might be on an all-NBA defensive team at the end of the year, but as a team to anchor things from Embiid to George, Oubre, Martin, and on down the line, where they should be much better ranking-wise as an overall team defense once this season gets underway, to the question of when we get to the middle of the season and then the postseason, where we say, all right, they have figured it out. Their defense is this good, where they should finally make it past the second round, hopefully into the Eastern Conference Finals and then the NBA Finals. So my answer would be the defense being a top 5 defensive team, maybe.
So I don't disagree with what you're saying, and I'm going to present a different idea, but I think they're connected. I'm paying attention to purely rebounds per game for Joel Embiid, and here's why. I think they have the recipe, the tools, the personnel, and the coach to be that elite defensive team. The one thing that I think can stop them from being a team that gets enough stops to be in that top 3, top 5 type territory is if they don't rebound the ball well enough. Like we've talked a lot all summer about, well, they have the switchable wings. Joel should be in position to rebound more because he's not going to have to step out as much. They'll be able to just slide guys across matchups, and there'll be more jumpers, and Joel will get early position and all that. But I think his rebounding numbers will show two things. One, it's that initial success of the defense. How good is Paul George? How good is Caleb Martin? How good is Kelly Oubre? So on down the line at guarding the yard, guarding their guy, keeping them in front of them. Number two, it's going to tell us something about Joel's health, right? Like I think what we saw in the Olympics and this summer was a combination of Joel's wearing this gigantic brace, right? You can see it every time he goes down the floor, and his mobility was not what I think we would want it or expect it to be. And some of it was taking it easy in the earlier games and not dialing it up and not necessarily prioritizing rebound as much as he should. I think people forget now, 2018-19, when Jimmy Butler arrived here, when Ben Simmons was here, Joel was rebounding almost 14 a game. Yep. Like he had, I think it was like 13.5, 13.6, whatever it is. That's a big number.
With the number that we like at the scoring of the 27 with the 13 boards.
And so the point I'm trying to make is that was with Ben Simmons on the team. And Ben Simmons was a very good rebounder, obviously, in his own right. And I think that's why I brought up yesterday, rebounding is always a team stat to me outside of those very elite guys that can just do it on their own. And so I think Joel's rebounds, his rebounds per game will tell a lot about what is everyone else doing. Are they guarding their guy? Are they boxing their guy out effectively? Are they just setting up to run in transition? Like what's the risk reward of staying back to help rebounding versus Paul George is out, Tyrese Maxey's out looking for the outlet, and how are they doing that? And so I'm putting a high burden on Joel this year. I'm not joining this chorus of people that we've had lately that have said he's a bad rebounder, but he definitely goes through stretches where I'm like, hey, his technique isn't good enough. His approach there isn't good enough, isn't consistent enough. And I want to see the focus to it on a game-to-game basis that maybe we haven't seen all the time. So I'm keeping a close eye on that. I think it'll tell you a lot about Joel individually, and I think it will play a huge factor in that defensive success that you're talking about.
And coming off of the Olympics, one of the things that as the Olympics kept going along, you saw where we're so accustomed to Joel Embiid snatching the board and pushing the break himself, which they don't mind and I don't mind. But there are times when I do want him to give the rock up and allow the other guys to push the break, find that success early. And if he happens to be a trail man, whether it's running down the middle of the floor for a finish at the rim or that trail three-pointer that he's very good at, he was willing to give the basketball up so quickly now in the group play where you're saying, all right, he sees that there is something there, which he used to do in the past with Ben Simmons. He had no problem giving the ball up to Ben Simmons when things changed, and later on with Maxey and Harden. But there was a stretch where he had to snatch that ball off the board and turn and go himself. So with that rebound, start that break. As you just pointed out, get the basketball out, let that transition start to happen, have the floor unbalanced for you to have that advantage on the break against that set where the defense is not set, and put them on their heels and try to get yourself an easy 2 to 3 points and maybe even some foul trouble as well
and the more
for the opposition.
To your point, the more he does it himself, that frees up those other guys to run.
Yes.
And then he doesn't have to get up the floor, right? If you put in that effort to rebound and you free up Tyrese Maxey, Jared McCain, Paul George, Caleb Martin, Kelly Oubre, like just keep going down and down the list, and they get quick transition buckets, we see him sometimes just do the do like kind of loiter up the floor and get the half court because he knows they're going to score.
Yep.
If you do the work as a rebounder, you will not have to do as much work running the floor. You can free the other guys up, and then you just hang back on defense, and we can see that guy that you and I and Derek have been hoping for, that is that apex defender that is going to drive this team.
And trust him.
Yes.
Because I immediately think about an overhead kick-ahead pass off a rebound to LeBron James. LeBron James caught it over the defense, laid it up.
Sure wish they could get that LeBron guy on this
Exactly.
team.
That would be very nice. Well, you have a little bit of a, lower level on Paul George. But it's because he trusted LeBron James, to your point. Trust your teammates that they are going to do exactly that if you make the right pass, you put it on the right spot, and they'll go up and finish that play in that rhythm. So trust it. The kick ahead, if he's going to push the break, fine. But don't do that, as you said.
Yes.
Don't do that. Guess what? Take that
ball moves faster
dribble,
than you do, buddy.
Boom, boom, and then bang, because he would hit Curry right on that right side across half court before he even stepped over half court, because he trusted, again, it was Steph Curry. Trust Tyrese Maxey like I know you do, Paul George, and everybody else, and I'm sure the success will follow.
We all silly like the mayor.